Ivy Slater, and you're listening to Her Success Story Podcast, a show where gutsy businesswomen share their success journey. Welcome back to today's episode of Her Success Story. I am Ivy Slater, and we are in our series on women leaders in the legal field, or women leaders in law, as I love to say it. So we have been highlighting each week on Her Success Story, as well as on our LinkedIn live show, Slater Success Live, a woman leader in the legal field. And I think it's been fascinating to learn from the various perspectives of women and what has driven them to do the different things. Today, I'm so fortunate to have Leona Krasner, who's a matrimonial attorney and divorce mediator. She's passionate about family and law-related matters, including prenuptials agreements, postnuptial agreements, settlement agreement reviews, et cetera, et cetera. You know, Leona, as I know, and I've known Leona for quite a few years now, and I always say it's always about your relationships. We met through networking. We built a relationship through networking. We've supported each other. We have conversations when we're not in the networking group. And as I've heard about what she has been building in Krasner Law, I said she needs to be part of this series because her background is unique and what she's doing is special. Leona, thanks for joining me here today.
It's an honor. Thank you for having me.
So share a little bit of your background. You know, matrimonial law wasn't always your thing. And I think that's interesting. And where did you get started in the legal field and what drove you to be here in the family law?
Great question. So I began at the Attorney General's office in their litigation bureau, really sort of getting my feet wet in terms of litigation. It was interesting. They wondered sometimes what I was doing there after 5:05 p.m. And so I figured I might as well go private. And so I did, started working with big firms and their litigation programs, if you will, helping get cases ready for either trial or settlement. And then I missed people. I started getting a little bit too friendly with cashiers and Uber drivers and had too many questions. And so realized I would have to do something else. During this time, from a young age, I've always been tutoring, working one-on-ones with students, evenings, weekends, that kind of thing. Joined a networking group, sat down with the incredible matrimonial attorney of that group, where I told her I'd love to start my own law practice. And she invited me to learn from her. And so that is how—
So you immediately got a mentor.
Exactly. Through networking, I found a mentor who showed me the ropes. And I wouldn't be here today were it not for her.
So so you decided to start your own firm, and let's just play a timeline game here, because I think it's interesting in what you've done in the amount of time you've done it. So when did that decision come, and when did you open the doors?
I would say, so I launched Krasner Law around March, 2 Marches ago. I made the decision that I wanted to start a law firm maybe, 6 months prior, 6 months before that. And knew that I would have to brush up and really decide to do this thing. And so then I did.
And where is Krasner Law 2 years later?
So it was just me to start. I've hired on, we currently have 10 employees and 3 summer associates.
So it's fascinating. Most people decide, and I say this with the utmost respect, most people decide to go out on their own, and it's kind of looked at like you're going to hang out a shingle, you're going to get started, you start a solo practice and you eventually build in an associate and you grow slowly. Where was your mindset and why?
My mindset has always been on helping more people. And so the way that I did this was I offer a flat rate, meaning I'm not charging many dollars per hour, and the goal is not to get rich quick off of one client. Instead, I'm aiming to charge folks maybe a little bit less for the flat rate and help more folks that way. And I quickly realized that I could not help hundreds of people all at once by myself. And so I had to bring in a paralegal, and then I needed a physical space. And the work kept increasing, and there was only one Leona, and I couldn't do it all. And so I kept hiring, and we kept helping more people, except now I had people on my team who were excited about helping more people too. And so I literally at this point have to tell some of my employees around, 6, 7 to maybe stop working. And I literally have an employee now who's like, Leona, I get to have one party day per week. And by party day, he means he gets to stay up late to do more work for the law firm.
So, your vision for this has been help more people, touch more people, help more people, touch more people. What has, in your life, what drove that?
I like helping people. I know it sounds corny, but right, I like helping people. And so realizing that I can do so through the law, really improve somebody's life in a meaningful way through the law in a way that's challenging and fun for me, leading a team to help them do the same thing has been incredible. I have judges ask me all the time, you don't look miserable enough to be in this profession. I don't think that I need to be miserable because I'm certainly not miserable helping folks.
So you've covered, several states. You have a goal to expand further. How do you see this moving forward in the next, let's say, 3 to 5 years?
Looking to grow. So we're currently in the New York and New Jersey region, and we're looking to grow nationally. So to definitely be at least in several more states within the next 3 to 5 years, offering a similar sort of pricing strategy where it's a flat rate where people can get the help they need.
What has surprised you in running this firm?
Where there's a will, there is a way, right? So I decided that I was going to do this thing, and there are the tools available if only one will look. That's one. And two, also from my mentor, is this idea that this is the practice of law. Each day we're learning, each day we're getting better. And boy, am I learning every single day. And every single day I'm getting better, and the field itself is getting more interesting to me, and we're helping more folks. So that's been awesome.
And the pandemic took many of us by surprise. How did you navigate it? You were building this firm, you're building a team, you built an office. How did you navigate when all of a sudden this global event took place? Businesses were scrambling, courts were figuring things out. As a new business owner and business leader in that way, how did you approach it, and what did you learn?
So I maybe had one day on the couch. I was like, wow, okay, don't know quite what to do. And then I got very bored. And I don't like being bored, frankly. So I decided we were going to do something about it. Figured out how it was I could maybe get the information of people who are looking for matrimonial attorneys. Did a lot of Googling. Google is a wonderful tool if you know what to put in there. And changed our marketing strategy to the point that leads were now being sent our way instead of us having to search for them during this time. And that really changed my business. And so we pivoted, and we were mostly virtual. I'd say we were maybe 89% virtual, and now we became 100% virtual. And we got to it. I mean, really sort of pedal to the metal, heads down. And we went, I'd say pre-COVID, I had 12 cases, something like that. I was so excited. I was a brand new lawyer. Let's do, matrimonial attorney, founder, and managing partner. Let's do this with my 12 cute cases. And it turned to 50, 100, 200 plus active cases incredibly quickly. And then it was just a matter of helping these folks.
So you started shifting your addressing and marketing.
Yes.
And today, so we've been through this about a year and a quarter plus, whatever that is. What do you see in the difference in marketing and sales as a business? Because law is a business, right? The practice of law is a business. Building a firm is building a business. What do you see in the marketing side today? Is it a lot of online? Is it relationship? Is it a combination, or percentages there? How do you approach that?
Great question. So the leads still help quite a lot, and building up those relationships and using Zoom and phone calls and things as a tool to nurture relationships. Sending out the Happy Spring card campaign to folks who are meaningful to me, and having them say, hey, I got the card, like the flower on it, right? Doing that kind of stuff and really checking in with those people in my circle, even though we can't physically meet, even though some are excited to see them again very soon. But even if we can't physically meet, making time to virtually meet or speak on the phone, that's been huge. And referrals through word of mouth have been coming in more and more. And may they sort of knock on wood continue to do so by building up these communities and networks.
Wanted to ask you this. So, listeners, you hear Leona is a bundle of energy going on. I always refer to her as the ever ready bunny, like, ready, up and moving and grooving. What do you do with your downtime? Where's your whole life? What does this look like? How do you take time? You're married, you're a woman, you're a human being. How do you manage this all? How do you fit it all in, especially when you're building this firm that is in massive growth and rapid growth?
So balance is key. My husband will be the first to tell you I'm not so good at balance. I get very excited and then work really hard. So trying really hard to put in curfews, like so success. We needed to have a little chat about husband would be going to bed at 10:45. Okay, even if I want to stay up later, all right. So that happened. But being a little bit better about that. I've been really taking much more of a breather Friday nights into Saturday nights. I call it my work Sabbath. It's been huge. Only answering the phone if it's a true emergency and not just a so-so emergency or just a Leona, how are you? And really taking that downtime, I think, is critical. Another piece that's really important to me is family. Spending time with my brother, his wife, their new child, my mom, my dad, really making time for the important people in my life. And I love vacations. So planning those, getting out the spreadsheet, doing the research, very, very big fan of that. And reading. Usually got my nose in a book or at least the Kindle app in my phone. And so going to and from work on the subway sounds kind of funny, but I love that time because I get to read my book for 10 minutes. And
I hear you there.
Very helpful.
So what thoughts, tips, advice might you have for people coming up who are thinking about like, gee, do I want to go out on my own? What would be my first steps? What should I check? Who should I talk to? What should I do?
My advice is this. You live in a world where there are people who don't want to help, but actually many who also do, who would love to assist, whether only a little bit or a whole lot. Reach out to those people who you really look up to, who made it, who did the thing that you want to do, and schedule time to chat with them. Whether it's for coffee or for Zoom or for whatever it is, reach out. Hey, I'd love to chat. What are you up to on Wednesday at 2 p.m.? And really have a set of questions ready to go and then just do it. Truly, but do it soon. Reach out today. Don't reach out in 5 years because I know so many attorneys in particular who are miserable, who hate their job. Brilliant, so good at what they do, and they are so unhappy. I give you permission to stop being unhappy. And let me tell you, starting up your own practice, deciding what the values of your organization are, and pledging not to be miserable, not to make your employees, if you ever have any, miserable, and not to make your clients miserable will be a fantastic start.
There. Listeners, you heard it from Leona. What I will always say is there's those who get started and those who think about it. When you truly want something, go and do it, go and build it. I also am a firm believer in building a business, building a firm, building an organization that fulfills you, because our happiness comes first. And when we do something that fulfills us, and you can hear it in Leona's voice, you hear her drive, her passion, her excitement. When you do something that truly fulfills you and you build an organization that fulfills you, you're making yourself happy and everybody you touch in your world. So last, what I'm going to say is, Leona, thank you so much for joining us today.
It was such a pleasure. Thank you so much for having me and for asking good questions.
And listeners, at the end of each podcast, this is what I say. I say, hit subscribe. We come into your inbox with great interviews as well as content every Monday morning, bright and early. In addition to that, here's the important piece. If you've dedicated time and you invested your time in showing up and listening today to this interview, Leave a note in what you're taking away from listening and what are you going to implement from the investment of your time. That's the golden nugget. I look forward to hearing your successes and your actions. See you next time.